You're watching Brian Rhodes TV. Coming up next, we have a classic 1979 Chevy C10 restoration.
Tell me a little bit about this build.
Yeah, so this is a 1979 Chevy C10. It's a 3-stroker motor, 350 transmission, all new drivetrain. I like to keep the builds very simple, very stock looking, as you could say, you know, coming off the showroom assembly line. So when it's aired up and you're driving, it almost looks stock, you know, stock interior. Obviously the motor is, you know, a little more spruced up than what you'd get back in the day. All down to the wheels, you know, Detroit steel, 22-inch. We try to keep that really stock, the dog bulls, how they came back in the day. Like I said, interior, same thing. The paint, we went with a root beer brown. That's a 1776 Tundra root beer brown. We added a little more stuff to it, little flake, little hue, kind of changed up a little bit. With the instrument cluster, all back to stock. You know, so
do you ever have any problems with the air ride on the vehicle?
We don't. I haven't yet. That's what I try to tell a lot of my customers and friends and people building or enthusiasts is, the way I do my builds, it's just completely chassis and do the front first, rear, and it's just kind of sitting there. And then I plumb everything. So you have full access just to run your lines really good, protect all your lines. There's a reason why Airlift Performance includes the cutter for your line. So when you cut it, it bevels it. So that way when you put it on your quick connect fittings, everything seats properly. Everything gets grounded good, everything gets ran good, all the lines are ran properly. You know, this way, that way, so nothing's kinked, nothing gets messed up. So to answer your question, no, me personally, I haven't had any problems with the air ride. Like I said, as long as everything's grounded properly, all the hots are good, you know, everything's plugged in properly and this and that, you won't have any problems. Rides really well. The air ride performance on this particular setup, I think it has like 8 or 10 different settings, presettings, that you press and hit buttons and it'll take you from one height to another height to a different height to this height. Because like when I pull out of my garage, I go to like a pretty high setting just so I can pull out, you know, drop out of my garage and turn. And then when I'm cruising, there's another setting that you can pretty much ride these trucks with the GSI suspension, with the 4-link, how we've done it, about an inch off the ground.
Oh, wow.
At like a normal speed cruising down the road. Now I wouldn't suggest like bombing over speed bumps and hitting dips and stuff like that, but where I'm
driving in Houston.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to go down Polk Road with it. Yeah. So like up in Austin, though, we have it's called 620. This road is really smooth. Man, I can run this thing half an inch off the ground, no problem. Turns, the whole deal, you know, with how we have it set up. Yeah.
All
right. As far as the drivetrain, like I said, 350 transmission, custom drive shaft. 4-link rear end, you know, front and rear bags. What I like to use is the GSI full front clip for the front end suspension. It converts it to a Mustang 2 rack and pinion. We do the serpentine belts and all that jazz. I usually match the block color to the body color and the valve cover, same thing to the body cover, body color. And one thing I've kind of I guess you could quote unquote say engineered or came up with is the on the steering shaft. A lot of guys are using a joint here, another one here, sometimes another one here, and then down below, whatever. So what I do is I just use 2. So there's one here on the column and then one on the steering rack itself. But what I do is I notch out the upper control arm area and I run the shaft through a cut Heims joint, and then I weld the Heims joint in place, kind of like a gusset, and run the shaft through the Heims joint. So that basically eliminates all the joints. It just gives you 2. It's a whole lot cleaner.
Is that right off the shelf, or did you have to modify?
I got to make that. Yeah, I make that. Okay. I just call in what parts I need, this and that. And I did that the very first time on my 83, and it just worked out great. And
no 3D printing involved?
No. Okay. Here's the 3D printing right here. So when the motor is not in there, I'll get in there. And the rack's already bolted in with the front air suspension, all that. And I put the column through and just, you know, start basically just kind of notching and massaging the metal so that the shaft is perfectly where it needs to be. Kind of put the Heims joint in there, run it through, tack it in place, and test it back and forth, this and that. And once it's good, then you just weld it in place, you know, do your, you know, a little bit of fab work and paint it, clean it up, and then drop the motor in. But the thing, you know, the way I do my trucks or cars, they're on the chassis, you know, down to bare chassis done. I do all the suspension first, all the lines, all the air, all the electrical, all that. And then, you know, the body, everything like that, just go up on top of it and then start plumbing everything. And
how long did the build take to do?
well, this was 2.5 years.
Okay.
And like I said, I was building a 69 Camaro at the same time. So I was kind of going back and forth while I was waiting for stuff to come in on this. I'd be doing the 69. And when I was waiting on 69 stuff, I would just go back to the truck, you know. But when it comes down to something, you know, where you want everybody at the show in general is like, oh my gosh, it's really clean, or it's this, or it's that, it's whatever. You know, it just boils down to time, taking your time, not rushing certain things. Every little detail, little thing will add up. I'm talking, you know, into the nut, bolt, hiding all the wires. You notice like everything's really hidden.
Yeah,
I run everything through the fenders as much as I can, you know, and I just try to keep everything as close to stock in general as I can, even down to like the hood hinges. This is a stock normal hood hinge, but it eliminates the spring, and then I retrofit the wham rod or a hydraulic, if you will, and it just looks a whole lot, you know, cleaner.
Hey, with the fender wells taken out, does it kick up a lot of
it can, yes. Okay, so my other 83, I have an 83 and 81. I have, I think it's Lunati, I think is how you pronounce it. His fender tubs, and it's not a full slosh tub. It's just a panel piece that kind of starts from here to about here, comes over, kind of angles down a little bit right there.
Okay.
So they're kind of cool. On this one, I decided just to keep it kind of open, just for the heck of it. But yeah. If you drive them a lot, you can, you know, depending on where you go, you can kick up crud and stuff like that.
No gravel roads, so
yeah, exactly. Don't do the gravel roads, you know. So, but then, like I said, as far as the interior goes, I really, really like to just completely, almost like go back in time. You know, I love, my favorite movies are like Back to the Future and time travel movies and stuff. So, what's cool about these trucks is the way I do them is when you get in them and you go drive them, you feel like you're back in time, because I keep, you know, I buy everything and refurbish everything from like either LMC Truck or USA One Industries. You can give them the paint code from 79 and they'll match the color that it came off the production line. And then all my vehicles, we always go back to like the stock gauges, you know, and if you look at the odometer, it's got 46 miles on it. That's 46 miles from when this truck first started and was done and went and drove around. So I try to just capture the nostalgic, you know, of the old gauges and the clusterman, the instrument, and the steering wheel, the column, the badging, just even the cheesy door handles and little saddlebags, and just everything that just captures it from when this truck, you know, from when your grandfather bought this truck back in 79, you know. When we come to the bed, you know, I try to keep as stock as I can with the bed. I've had a lot of people ask me about what's going on with the cuts right there for the fifth wheel. When I first bought this truck, it was just, you know, a pile, and we got it from a guy up in Chicago, and his grandfather had bought this truck brand new from the dealership, and he drove for many, many years. And before it was, you know, like this, obviously, stock normal, him and his grandfather one day were out going to be cutting the hole in the bed for the fifth wheel. They're putting in the fifth wheel. And he passed away the next day. So, because I asked the kid, I was like, what's going on with that? And he's like, and he told me the story. So I was like, you know what? That's part of the history of the truck and just kind of things about it. I'm going to leave that in there. So we just left where they had initially cut it for the fifth wheel. And then we always do the rhino line in the beds and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, you know, just little things that, you know, I think make the builds and the trucks special, the history about it.
Yeah, this paint job is immaculate. I don't see any orange peel or anything in it.
So
how many coats of clear do you have on it?
Quite a few, but it's so to start from the basics of it, it's a 1776 Tundra, brown, I think it is. Like a root beer brown, whatever they call it, from Tundra Toyota. But we did a little more metal flake in it, just a tad bit, a little more hue in it to kind of brew it up a little bit to make it look brewy, or whatever that color you want to call it. And yeah, we just kept laying it down and wet sanded the crap out of it and buffed it, and we went from like 2,000 to 1,000 down to
4,000.
rubbing it with paper, basically.
Yeah.
And then you just keep buffing it, and that's what you get, you know. And then from bumper to bumper, like I said, everything's been replaced. All new wire and harness, because the problem is with these older trucks, they came with the glass bulb.
Oh yeah,
wire. A lot of them did. Some did, some did. So that all gets yanked out.
LEDs now.
Yeah, we yank all that out, and we do, a lot of times, we'll actually, all the time, pretty much, you use the American wiring. They make really good stuff. So it's all new wiring harness, all new dash harness, all new printed mat for the gauges, engine harness, chassis harness that controls the lights, everything. So
what about the dashboards and everything? What you guys get those?
It's all brand new.
Okay.
So like I said, that's by USA One Industries, and they'll color match the code from the VIN of the vehicle. It's really cool.
Okay.
So you can look up the VIN, or you can even just Google 1979, C10, OEM stock colors kind of thing, and it'll pull. I think it was like brown, this color, tan, green, red, gray. There was like 7-8 different colors that came with the truck, and we just thought that the root beer brown color with that original color style interior all stock done would just make it look really good, and I gambled on it, and I think it came out pretty good.
Hey man, the build looks great, man.
Thank you. It was a Cheyenne originally, and I changed it to a Scottsdale.
Okay.
Because if you notice the interior, obviously the color interior, it just goes really good with that goldish kind of orange logo. The same as on the dog bowl center caps, kind of the same kind of yellowish orange. I just thought it tied really, really well. And
what size are the wheels on here?
So these are 22s.
Okay.
Not my cup of tea. The gentleman who bought it from in Chicago, he had the 22s on there. And these are the Detroit steel. They're really nice wheels. So I was just like, you know what? I'll build it on 22s.
It looks really good, and it still looks classic at the same time. Yeah.
I've had a lot of people, they're just like, man, they look so original-ish and this and that. I'm like, well, that's what Detroit steel does. They take their 20 or their 22 and they retro it from like the 15-inch to make it look like what it used to look like, and it's pretty cool. I think it came out really good. So give it a run.
What is Nevrslo?
So Nevrslo Motorsports we are a full brick and mortar business. I founded in 2008. We do everything from lift kits, wheels, tires, off-road accessories, exhausts, programmers, intakes, pretty much everything you bolt onto just your regular, normal, daily driving truck. So I started in 2008 in League City. We grew it to several locations over Texas. So we've got still the original League City, Santa Fe, Austin, and Waco. So we're, kind of spread out through Texas. And again, same thing with all the shops. It's all, lift kits, wheels, tires, basically your four-wheel parts. We are Nevrslo Motorsports is exactly that. Now, when it comes to like the C10 builds and the Camaros and the hot rods and all that stuff, I've got about a 4 or 5 car garage at my house. So I do all of that stuff here at my house, and so basically with Nevrslo, like I said, full off-road, all that stuff, all the shops. So primarily that's what the shops all do, and then like I said, all the hot rod stuff, anything like that, do at my house.
Okay, do you guys have social media? Or?
We do. So you can go on Instagram. It's Mr. Nevrslo, exactly how we spell it. Facebook, just search Nevrslo, you'll find it. I'm not like a crazy social media person, but we do have the Instagram's Mr. Nevrslo. Website, Nevrslo.com. And like I said, I'm really into apparel. So we do like a full apparel line with hoodies, flannels, shirts, hats, women's apparel, kids, the whole deal.
Thanks a lot. Cool.